In 1913, Henry Ford came up with the idea of the moving line. And instead of having each individual person working on a car at one time, he went through and said, let's have one guy put the tires on, let's have another guy check the seats, and all of the different things were done in different processes. This revolutionized the car industry and the way we do business online today. And then in 1914, he invented the endless conveyor. This was a belt that kept things moving over and over and over again so that things could get done more efficiently and for a lot less money. The time to build a chassis in 1908 was approximately 12 hours and 30 minutes. After the first moving line, he cut that time down to about 5.5 hours. Then, when he introduced the full assembly line conveyor belt system, he got the lead time to building a new car down to just 93 minutes, dropping the price from about $850 per unit to just over $250.
In the 1920s, on the edge of the roaring decade, steel, sweat, and precision came together on Ford's moving assembly line. Piece by piece, frame by frame, the Model T took shape, not by the hand of one, but by the rhythm of many.
And using the assembly line system, they went from selling just 10,000 cars in 1909 and skyrocketed to over 2 million vehicles in 1923. And this was all done by dissecting every process that it took to build a car and putting it into little segments and little slots so that things can get done in a very, very efficient, fast way. But none of this would have been done had they not taken and dissected the entire process into little parts. This is all about parts of a whole, which was first made popular by Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations, where he talked about the division of labor, how you divide certain things up to get the entire process done more efficiently. However, none of this would have happened had Henry Ford not known the process that makes money to begin with. Which is why today we are going through the complete affiliate marketing assembly line. I'm going to show you the process as a whole from an overarching view, and then we're going to break it up into little tasks that you can have AI do so that you can create things that actually make money. This is super important because far too many people are getting stuck on one little thing. That would be like stopping the entire assembly line because one guy has his shoe untied and doesn't know how to tie shoes. Which, yes, sounds completely ridiculous, but that's what happens when it comes to info overload. You're focusing on the wrong thing that doesn't produce a result. Oh sure, it might sound good, but when you dig a little bit deeper, it's just leading you astray, causing busy work, and never equaling any money.
Every word stamped, every idea pressed to life. Content becomes currency, pouring into streams of profit. Here, every word pays.
And that's why today we need to focus on the things that actually work. We're going to map out the entire process and show you how I use AI in all the moving parts of my AI automated affiliate marketing assembly line. So if you're excited to learn how this works so that you can implement this in your business, smash a like button and let's go to work. All right, everyone, welcome to the show. Today what we're doing is we're going through the complete affiliate marketing assembly line. This is something that I've been doing for many, many years, and what we're doing is we're breaking it down into little tasks that we can use to make this work. Super important, and we need to understand what actually works, why it works, and how we can plug AI in to get it. Now, a lot of you guys know that I have started a new business with personality prompts where we're going through and taking the different tasks and the different personalities that make you think about business in a different way, much like how Henry Ford invented the whole idea of the assembly line and made it popular. What we're doing is we're going through and looking at it and saying, okay, how can we actually dissect these down into little pieces? And instead of like Henry Ford, where he went through and had employees, what if we could do this with AI? Now, this is something that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. I've been in the trenches doing this for about 3 years with AI, almost 4 years. And even before that, I've been doing affiliate marketing for like 25 years. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on what actually makes this thing work. Then what we could do is we could boil it down into an automation flow and look at where we need to have certain things done by AI, certain things done by human, and everything like that. Because the reason Henry Ford got rich is because he oversaw the process. He was the one looking over everything and making it work. So let's go ahead and dive in here and take a look at how this works. Now, why do we want to do an assembly line for affiliate marketing? First of all, we want to look at this and say, how can we put one input, get multiple outputs, and have systematic efficiency? We're going to be looking at 10 foundational concepts of how this actually works. These aren't just metaphors, they're proven operational principles that will transform the way that you do business online. So understanding this is absolutely key. We're going to go through and look at different concepts like the division of labor. Now, the first part of this training is going to be kind of mundane, but I want you to follow through because this is what's building the blocks so that you can understand how this works. Because if you get this one time and you're able to get going with this, well, then you could go through and build this over and over and over again. Very, very important. If you have an issue with your personality prompts, just use the lost password thing and it'll find it for you. Now, going through the division of labor here, we want to look at where this came from. It was first started with the Adam Smith Wealth of Nations, where the idea was to break complex work into small specialized tasks for multiplying efficiency. And instead of one person making an entire product, each person masters one thing. Workers became faster and interchangeable. Expertise moves from the individual to the system. This is where the system became the thing. Like now you have a lot of people who are like, well, I don't know how to, get beef. It just shows up at the grocery store, right? We don't see the process there. Now, with the affiliate marketing application, what you can do here is you can actually go through and look at where this is going, okay? So the problem is most affiliates try to do everything. They try to do research. They try to write, design, edit video, manage social media, handle emails, run ads, and everything all at once. What this does is it creates bottlenecks and burnout, and it keeps you away from focusing on the things that actually work. Very important, okay? So we want to go through and look at that. What we want to do is we want to divide content creation into specialized focus, specialized task, research, writing, design, video, distribution. The result, my AI team will become specialists at each step. Having each little prompt in each little area is where this is going to go through and make it work, because now I can have the AI be an expert in this one thing rather than having one AI try to be an expert in everything, which is what most people are trying to do. If you're having trouble reading the slides, we do have them available. After the call, they'll be available over at personalityprompts.com. Now, going through the next one, we're going to go and look at the standardization and interchangeable parts. When we look at this, we have the origin where American system of manufacturing was pioneered in industrial production, perfected by Henry Ford. All the parts must be identical and fit universally. So obviously, if you have like a Model T, all the doors need to fit all of them so that there's no custom, these ones have a different door. That's going to slow down the production. That's going to make you have to go back to the drawing board and think of how it works. Because when you think about what a car door does, all right, well, it attaches to like the lock. It attaches to the frame. It keeps the thing sturdy. All of these things that it does, when you switch one thing up and change one thing from something that's actually working to, hey, I'm going to try this new thing, then you get a bottleneck. The effect is it enables large-scale assembly, easy repairs, predictable quality. Without standardization, a moving assembly line is impossible. Parts become commodities, much like you look at McDonald's. When McDonald's came out, obviously there were people out there where, a guy would cook a hamburger. McDonald's came out and it's like, okay, this guy just does the patties, that guy does the onions, this guy puts the sauce on, this guy puts it in a box, and boom, there you go. Unfortunately, it's not that great of a product, but it does sell billions and billions of them because of the efficiency. This is super important because when you apply this to affiliate marketing, you have the problem that every piece of content is created from scratch. Everything you're trying to do, there's no consistency in format, structure, or quality. Each post takes the same amount of time as the first. What if we can go through and look at the templates and how they would build up? Very, very important. We could go through and see, yeah, I could do a blog post template, like my affiliate marketing 7-part structure we're going to show you in a minute. We can do a video script template where we template everything out. The AI handles the rest. This is where AI really shines, is as an employee. However, far too many people are looking at AI and saying, well, I'm just going to have this run my whole business. It's so smart, it's going to be the boss. Well, if it was going to be the boss, don't you think OpenAI would be profitable right now? Yeah, it would be. But the fact of the matter is it's not. We need to understand where we come into play and the decisions we make, and our job is to oversee it. Much like Henry Ford was out there, and he's like, hey, I oversee this process. The process works. I could remove myself from the process once it's done, and it'll still work, which is why we're still getting Fords long after Henry Ford has been gone. The result is creation speed increases 3 to 5 times, quality becomes consistent, anyone can follow the template, and it's easy to train team members or virtual assistants. When we look at this, we have video scripts, social post formulas, email sequences, and graphics templates. Now, think about it this way, because what we want to do is want to visualize how the whole thing works and then break it up, which is what we're going to get to. Number 3, we have scientific management, where you're going to go through and say there's one best way to perform each task found through time motion studies and systematic measurement. When we look at this with affiliate marketing, a lot of affiliates are trying to guess or have intuition. They don't really have tracking of what actually works. Every piece of content is like an experiment for them. I myself have been guilty of this. However, when you start to understand, wait a minute, where does AI shine? AI is good at analyzing data and predicting an outcome. That's literally what its best use case scenario is. Now, we can go through and have it make, a flying elephant at the circus or whatever, if Disney's okay with that, right? We can go through and have it make whatever we want, but where it really shines is in the application of very, very easy tasks and thinking different about them. Because if you apply a framework to one thing, it'll just replicate over and over. So think about it this way. If I was able to know what kind of content would go viral on Facebook, and I was able to give that to AI and consistently get viral output, well then, the chances of me going viral on Facebook are going to go up exponentially. And then at that time, it just becomes about, okay, how many do I want to post? How much stuff do I want to do? And when we do this, we can go through and look at tracking everything. If you don't have anything to track, look at what else works. AI will literally find you what else works, and then we can go through, create standard operating procedures or a template, test systematically where we know what's going. The result is we discover our one best way through data. This is where most people don't get, and they don't scale. A lot of people start affiliate marketing, they start businesses, and they're out there and they're like, okay, well, I want to make money. That's what I want to do. This sounds great, wonderful. And they start and they hear someone say something like content is king, where whoever said content is king should be fired from marketing because content is not king. Content structured properly can be king, but you have to focus. You have to look at it. And most people get these ideas from gurus. You got all these gurus in your head telling you different ideas, and they sound good. And you're like, oh, well, this guy said this thing that sounds good. I mean, anything in Gary Vee's voice sounds convincing. I must need to do it. But not all things are helpful and not all things are good. It is your job to be like Henry Ford and say, what is good? What is bad? What am I going to focus on? I am a business person. I decide what I'm doing. And here's the key. Unlike Henry Ford, who had to wake up in the morning and say, hey, I got payroll to make. I got people to pay. Your AIs are literally like $20. And if you understand how to use it, it's absolutely key. Very important. So what we want to do is we want to look at things and say, well, what actually works and what am I actually building? Where am I actually going? Do I want to get people who are interested in finance, weight loss, hobbies, whatever it is? I need to figure out where I want to go and where that money's at. And then I want to systemize the process with AI to make that happen. This is super important, and a lot of people overlook this. And what happens is they're doing guesswork. Oh, well, someone said if I post 10 times a day on Facebook, I'm going to go viral. Okay, well, post what? Go viral how? What does that even mean? And then when they don't get results that they don't know, some people get results. They don't know they got results, and they don't know what's going on or what to do with them. Or they get no results, they get frustrated, they give up, they go back to the guru, get another idea, and they never make it past this first step of creating something without a rhyme, reason, or purpose. What we want to do is look at that purpose. This is super, super important. And when we look at that, we can go through and say, okay, how do I make a continuous flow? Okay, what is the moving line going to look like? If I'm out there and I say, okay, well, I'm going to promote, let's say you're going to promote a, how to find the love of your life book, some kind of romance finder book or whatever, course, something on ClickBank, or maybe you're going to promote a software. Just before this, I made $3 on a keyword software, which is cool because I didn't even remember I was promoting it. But, you might say $3, what are you going to do with that? Again, results not typical, implied, or guaranteed. Most people trying to make money online don't even make $3. So we need to understand this and see where we're headed. Because here's the deal. If I made $3 selling that one keyword thing, well, now I know, okay, so selling keyword thing makes money. Does it make a lot of money? No, but if I can sell a lot of them, well, then I can. If I could sell 10,000 of those a year, well, there's some cash. That's something to write home about. Now, going through and looking at that and saying, okay, well, what else can I do? Because if I sold 10,000, that means there's a lot of other people. So the idea would be, instead of going to gurus, saying, okay, how am I going to promote X? All right, what am I going to promote? How am I going to do this? What am I going to make work? And then systemize it. Say, okay, well, maybe it's going to be through blog posts or articles or videos or all of the above, like you're going to see in this. And the continuous flow is the moving line where Henry Ford had this major leap saying, let's bring the work to the worker. Let's bring the task to the worker, not the worker to the work. A lot of people are doing this with AI where they're like, hey, let's have AI decide everything. Let's have AI give me business ideas. Okay, maybe. I mean, it's fun and it's cute to play around with AI. I was just watching a video, I think it was Jordan Belfort or something, saying you should have AI be your therapist. And I'm like, that's the worst advice ever, but yeah, you go, right? I think it was him, I'm not sure. But going through and looking at this, what we're doing is we're not looking at it from a standpoint of this is something we can install in an assembly line that could be our business. Super important. Now, what we want to do here is eliminate wasted motion. This is what AI is about. This is why I'm bringing it back 100 years to look at this assembly line and say, okay, well, how does this work with AI? These principles work. Everyone who's used these principles has made a lot of money. Elon Musk even uses them in his Tesla factories and a lot of things that he does. Other companies use these all the time. And when you understand this works, now let's apply AI. A lot of people, they come to AI and they're like, well, AI, what works? Well, okay, that's fine, but you're going to get a bunch of answers that might not put you in the right direction. So what we want to do is eliminate wasted motion. Enforce consistent pacing, keeps it going, keep it moving. If you're not moving, you're out of business. You got to keep moving. You got to keep growing. If you're doing social media, you got to keep posting. You got to keep creating. A lot of people don't know how to do this. Now with AI, if you have the right system in place, it works. I'll let you in on a little secret. There's a buddy I have who has an AI clone of themselves that makes videos. I'm completely jealous because I have not yet done that. I haven't created that for myself. I'm a little weary about it, but I think we're going to start doing it because we kind of have to. And she has actually created an entire business, gets tons of profits, gets tons of customers using an AI clone and a process. And the process is something where she even removed herself from the video creation process. So instead of me being here, this would be an AI avatar. It's not yet, but it can be. And looking at that and saying, okay, well, what she's going to do is she's going to take her business, which is reporting on AI and business and stuff like that, right? So you take that and you say, okay, well, what did we do before? Well, I would sit and make a video or get in front of the camera, make a video about topic 1, topic 2, watch it, build and grow, turn that into articles and blog posts and things like that, then turn that into an email and all of this. And what she's doing is she's taking a process and replicating it and making the assembly line with AI. Like, okay, now we use AI to research the video topic. Used to cost thousands of dollars for me to research a video. Now we could do it with AI with a $200 a month subscription. It's literally nothing. You could probably do it with the $20 one or even the free AI tools out there if you wanted to. I like the ones I like because they're more efficient and they do a lot of things. Much like the slideshow here was created with AI. This was a created slideshow that I had AI do. I did one a couple of weeks ago where we went through and I made a sales slideshow, sold better than me. Again, looking at what are the things AI is good at. If Henry Ford came down and he's like, oh, you are the fastest tire putter on ever, he's going to move that person somewhere else. Right? He's not going to say, okay, well, stay there and just get really good at tires. No, he's going to move that person where it's more efficient. And the Model T production time dropped 88%. Now, how do we do this with affiliate marketing? Content sits in drafts, videos wait for editing, graphics need approval, everything stops between stages, there is no flow. When you stop to make a blog post, again, one, it's not based on a system, two, it's not based on data, and three, you have to stop and think and actually create that. The solution is to create a content pipeline with automatic handoffs, research, keyword list, writing, draft complete, editing, graphics ready, publishing. What does this look like with AI? Content moves automatically through stages, no bottlenecks, predictable output. 3 posts per week becomes a standard, not heroic. And sometimes we're able to do even more. Back 5 years ago, before AI, there's no way I would have been able to do 5 videos a week, several webinars a week. There's no way I could do it. Even now, I'm pretty tired doing it, probably because I don't automate as much as I can. But looking at this and systemizing it is key. Next up, we have the economies of scale. How are we going to scale? All right, anyone can make a blog post and get a few visitors, and maybe if they're lucky, make a few bucks. How do we do this? Over and over and over again, replicatable, duplicatable to where there's passes, right? What we're going to do is passes. We're going to go through and say, okay, well, what does 1 look like? All right, well, I need to make this piece of content. Let's make pass 1, see where it ranks. Pass 2, maybe pass it to a different AI, build it up better based on what it's ranking for, grow and think and build different. And then maybe if it does well, turn it into a video. If that does well, maybe turn it into a Pinterest. Maybe turn it into 25 different social media posts, things like this. Starting to understand how this works is super key because we can automate everything. This is the economy of scale. The result is our cost per touch point drops from 3 hours to like 2 minutes. Same effort, 67 times the distribution. That's how people are getting things out. And whether you're doing it or not, if you're not, you're going to have to catch up. Much like that gal who has the AI clone, I can't compete with her if I don't automate things. There's no way. There's no way I could do that because I need to automate things and I need to work them. Now, looking at the bottleneck awareness, a bottleneck is where things get trapped. A system is only as fast as its slowest step. If you're going out there and you have one station that takes 5 minutes while others take 1 minute, the entire line moves at 5-minute intervals. Right now in your business, if you're honest with yourself, first ask yourself, do I have a real business and a real setup and objection? If not, watch my stuff on business ideas and things like that, okay? If you do, think about the things that you're doing. Are you stopping to create something and bottlenecking everything? Or can you sit down and be like, today, I'm going to use AI to come up with 60 blog post ideas. Then I'm going to run them through this process. And looking at that and understanding, okay, I can run them through a process with an AI prompt and get an output that is consistent. Much like McDonald's, if you go to McDonald's in Hawaii, it tastes exactly the same as the one in Florida. It is exactly. I've been to both of them, unfortunately. But going there and looking at that, you're like, okay, why is it exactly the same and why is it always replicatable? And it doesn't, like in their case, it doesn't even matter if it's a stellar product, it's just predictable. Like the news. The news is not a good product. Most of the time it's just a bunch of junk, but it's predictable. People know what they're going to get. Much with content. The effect, the manager's main job shifts from making everyone busy to eliminating bottlenecks. Optimizing fast steps is pointless if the slow steps remain. The foundation of modern operations management, the theory of constraints, built on this insight. Now, how does this work with affiliate marketing? The problem You can write 10 blog posts a week, but video editing takes 6 hours per video. All right, I'm going to preach to the choir here. I'm a pain when it comes to editing and making videos and making sure everything is good. It's a complete pain and it takes a while. However, I have gotten better at it just by looking at certain things. I have noticed, okay, in this new office we're in, it's easier to get a video out. Why? Well, in the old office, I had my desk over here. All right, so here's my desk. And then over here, I had the table with the background with the bricks where I'd filmed the intro. I'd have to move from here to this desk, shift everything out to make it work. Video time, 6 hours from idea to publish. Okay, that includes editing and everything. Now, I've made it easier. In the new office, my desk is right in front of the computer monitors, right? The background is the bricks. There's no movement. That one little step probably saves me, I'm going to say 15 hours a week. And that's not even AI enabled. Imagine what happens when you start to AI automate these things. These are things that we have to look at, but we often don't. A lot of people look at business and they're looking at certain things. Now, with me, everyone who works here or knows me or has spent more than 5 minutes talking to me knows that I'm obsessed with one thing. There is one thing in business I'm super obsessed with, and that one thing is sales. I want to get sales in, because without sales, nothing matters. Like if I'm not getting sales, if Henry Ford had the greatest assembly line ever, but he wasn't getting sales, well then he just has a really nice, expensive assembly line that is going to burn through his fortune in minutes. So understanding this is key. Processes, systems, looking at what actually works. So my question is, what's going to bring in the sales? When we look at affiliate marketing application, we want to look at where are our bottlenecks? Where is your current bottleneck? Is it working on your blog? Is it tech stuff? Like, do you struggle with tech stuff? Because now you could fire up, we did a video yesterday, which isn't getting that much traction, but I thought it was a good video. It was about Copilot and how it can actually help you code in real time, which is really good. And so we could go through and look at that and be like, okay, well now that's taken out. The bottleneck's taken out. Sometimes in life, we have something, myself included, like let's face it. All right, if I get real with you, the reason that gal with the AI clone is able to get more done than me is what? I'm too stubborn. I was too stubborn to adopt the fact that I want an AI clone. That's it. I was too stubborn. It's costing me money. Stubbornness is costing me money. Now, luckily, I'm good at some other things, and so I'm still making money. But that's costing me money and time. Why? Because if I could free up my time by automating something, that's game changer. Why? Because it's not actually me that people care about. It's not actually the article that people care about. It's what they're going to get out of it. This is super important. And once you understand that, it's kind of like in business, one of the biggest things is getting over ourselves. Unfortunately, we see these entrepreneurs with egos that are bigger than their billions of dollars. And we think that that's what makes it work. It's having that big ego, that big strength or whatever. And what we have to do is we have to be willing to get over ourselves. Because while you see entrepreneurs with big egos, they also have an area where they're like, okay, I will listen to other people. I will listen to other things. When someone comes in and says, there's a flaw in your business, I will perk up. Even though it might hurt my ego or whatever, I need to listen to that. And I need to identify the bottlenecks. Next up, looking at de-skilling and worker alienation. Knowledge moves from workers to management. Tasks become repetitive and narrow. A craftsman once built entire cars. Now he tightens bolts 400 times a day. Now, when we look at this, what we need to understand that certain AIs do certain things very good. Okay, for whatever reason, I just picked this up really quick. I'd like to say it's because I'm smart. It's probably just by accident that I figured it out. And going through and looking at it and saying, well, Manus AI does certain things better than Gemini. Sora is better at video creation than this other one. Why? Well, because Sora, I could load 3 at a time. So I could go through and I can make 3 videos at a time in Sora. They're little clips, 15 seconds, but still, that is the fastest we got right now. Manus, I can create entire slideshows and research and stuff like that, okay? Other tools, Claude for programming, fantastic. Gemini for API programming and deep research, great. Starting to understand these are your employees. These AIs are your employees. It's your job to make money with them. The employees didn't show up and Henry Ford got rich. No, he had to go through and be like, how are we going to sell these cars? How are we going to sell this stuff? The problem here is over-automation kills creativity. If you template everything and outsource everything, your content becomes generic and soulless. Okay, that could be something to worry about. We're going to talk about how prompts will fix that. The balance here is to automate distribution, scheduling, posting, repurposes, research, automate research with keyword flows, keyword tools, AI summaries, keep it human by strategy, storytelling, voice automation, keep it human with product reviews and personal stuff. Efficiency without losing soul, we stay engaged and fulfilled. Our audience feels authenticity, best of both worlds. This is what I do. A lot of people don't know, but I used to have a staff of people that would write my video content. They would come up with all the notes, they'd give me the notes, much like a news reporter, and I would come here and display it. Now I'm able to do this with AI, much faster, much less expensive, and on the dot. When something new comes out, I can make this work literally right now, okay? So super important. We gotta understand exactly how this stuff works. Next up, we have the Fordist social contract. Mass production and high wages, mass consumption. Workers earn enough to buy what they produce, stabling both labor and demand. Now, this is more of an economics term, but what we can do is we can go through and say, how are we going to have products that work? Like the problem is a lot of affiliates promote products they never use, which is funny because we all got products we buy. Why not talk about stuff you know or actually get it? Going through and looking at that is important as well. Now, one of the things that's very popular is the idea of continuous improvement, or Kaizen. Kaizen is a Japanese term that talks about little improvement over time. As you do this, you're going to get better. You're going to make it work. It's going to go through and make it work in a very, very good way. Why? Because you're continuously doing micro improvements. I learned to write an article with AI. I write 1,000. My 1,000th article is 1 billion times better than my first one. So starting to understand that is very, very key. All right? Going through and looking at what can I do better? What can I improve? How can I look at what's being consumed? What's working? How can I use AI to actually dissect what's working? This is what we've done in personality prompts. If you go in personality prompts, we have all kinds of prompts based on business strategy, business thought, content creation. And these are about what works. We went through and we looked at top experts and said, okay, well, what makes something go on viral on Facebook? Okay, break that down. Let's dissect what's actually working. Let's put that into a prompt so that I can plug that into my business, continually improve, continually test, continually make this work in a very, very straightforward way. All right, going through and looking at that, Toyota did this fantastically, and they were responding to Ford's rigidity, and they were able to go through and continuously improve. Very, very important, okay? So going through and looking at that, we have to really, really understand what's going on and why. How am I going to do better? How am I going to build and do better every single time? This is super important stuff that we really need to focus on, because if you're not growing, then you're going to be not growing and struggling, and you're going to have a big problem with that. So looking at continual improvement over time is absolutely a game changer, because I can improve little by little, making a video better, understanding what people want, understanding what people need. Using AI to go out there and gather data is super, super important. Your system gets better over time. You eliminate the waste and focus on what works. Compound our results. Evolution, not revolution. Most people don't get to this point. Most people are out there making content, building things, and just kind of throwing it out there and hoping that it works. What we're doing is we're looking at what actually works, duplicating it, doing better next time, giving that to the AI, getting the feedback, getting the formula, because everything can be built down to a formula. It's much like if you were to go to Home Depot, right? You go to Home Depot and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to paint my wall, right? And you'll go through, and I think we could get a different color here for purposes, right? And you're like, I want to paint my wall this yellow color, right? And you go to Home Depot, and you're like, here's the yellow. And they put it through their machine, and it does all this stuff, and you come back after you buy a bunch of other stuff at Home Depot that you didn't plan on getting, and the guy says, your paint color is 097H5A2. And that's what it is. This equals yellow. What we want to do with AI, and what we're doing with AI Profit Scoop and personality prompts, is we're going through and we're boiling down processes that we know work into this. That way, instead of coming to you and saying, well, we need like a lightish yellow that kind of looks like an egg, but kind of also the sun, and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? Instead, I say 097H5A2, boom, the computer knows immediately what we're going to get because it's systemized, it's duplicatable, it's replicatable. If I know, okay, I want an article that's going to work good for this platform, boom, I got that prompt, I plug it in, I go. I don't need to think about it. I don't need to wonder. I don't need to reverse engineer. I don't need to study how blog content converts into money because I know based on that prompt. Number 10, integration of human and machine. This is Industry 4.0. This is where we're at. We're going to merge robotic precision and human adaptability, much like we saw in factories. My grandpa was a factory worker. One day, a machine took his job. Luckily, he found other stuff pretty quick. He was actually pretty smart at stuff like that. But going through, the machine handles repetitive tasks like humans handle judgment, creativity, and problem solving. Now, the effect is rigid assembly lines to data-driven collabs, flexible systems you can customize and things like that. We need to be able to move quickly. We need to be able to adapt. Something comes in, we need to be ready for it. 2022, December, I'm sitting at home. I didn't see the AI wave coming. Had I been rigid and said, oh, no, this is what we do, well, I would have missed out on millions of dollars because now I'm able to adapt and use AI in a good way. And because I had everything set up in systems, boom, I adapted really quickly. Understanding this is key because things do change. That's the one thing you can count on in life. Everything changes all the time. The problem here is that most people are trying to do everything manually or over-relying on AI and losing authenticity, or I would say more important than losing authenticity is losing what works. You lose sight of what works because AI is this tool that can do all these cool things. You forget about what works. That's why a lot of AI companies right now are struggling. The example is Tesla's Fremont factory. Robots weld and paint. Humans inspect and refine. Each car can be customized on the fly. No two are identical. Going through and looking at this, when we add this together, we could get 10 times the output without losing quality or authenticity. Starting to understand that is absolutely key. AI handles the little work. We focus on high-value creative and strategic decisions. Now, let's take a breath. The intro of this training is done. Let's get into the big part of how this actually works and how it applies. If you appreciate these big, long, boring trainings that give you things that actually work, smash that like button and let me know. The assembly line philosophy is affiliate marketing. Assembly line is a systematic, repeatable process for creating content once and distributing it across multiple platforms. Imagine this. Instead of going out there and waking up one day and saying, well, the guru said I need a blog post. All right, let's blame me. I say you need a blog post. You do need a blog post. If you're here in 2025 and almost 2026 and you don't have a domain, you don't have a blog, you're fighting an uphill battle, right? You're running an uphill race. It's going to be very difficult. So the guru says you need a blog post. You sit down. You spend 5 hours messing around with AI. Eventually, you get a blog post that looks somewhat reasonable to you. Only to someone like me, I know that the blog post is not good. It will not make money. It will not get traffic. But you think it's pretty good. And you're like, okay, well, I got this. I worked really hard on it. Happens every time. Every Tuesday, every Thursday, we have a call with my members. They bring me their stuff. Half the time, I am reviewing things that people think are good, but they're not because they're not using the right framework. So first of all, they're already behind the 8 ball. They're already like, man, this is not good. I don't like it. I'm behind the game. So next, what they do is they're like, well, the guru also said I need a video. So they go and they make a video. And they start from square one, and they're making their video. And they're like, the guru said I need to post 20 things on social media. And now they're spending all this time doing all this stuff, reinventing the wheel over and over again. It'd be like if Henry Ford came into his factory every day and was like, well, let's make a new factory today. And people are like, why would you make a new factory? This factory's working. That's what you're doing every day. That's what a lot of people do every day. Instead, what if you had a framework that said, here is why and how, that says why and how your blog post is going to be written. Why? Well, I'm writing for this group of people, and I'm going to try to get Google traffic because I have a blog that ranks for that stuff. Ding, ding, ding. Now we're making good decision. Happy face. Yay, good. Then you say, well, I need to find the intent, and I need to go through this process to make a really good blog post that's actually going to rank and convert. Yay, good. Okay, there's another happy face, all right? Then what if you sat down and you said, well, using AI, I can now split that blog post into 20 different social media carousels that are based on what actually works. I know they work because we dissected the framework. Then, what if I turn those posts into a video? What if I turn the blog post into a checklist, a tool, a program? This is how you think different, but it all has to be based on the fact that you know why you're doing the thing in the first place. That's why I can have one blog post and it makes more than some other guy's entire blog or website or whatever, because of the focus, because of the understanding. When we look at that, instead of randomly creating content, we are building structured workflow where each piece moves through predictable steps, from creation to repurposing, distribution, and optimization. The result is one good blog post focused right can now become 50 assets reaching 10 platforms with maximum efficiency and much more reach. This is important. This is how the stuff works. And when you understand all of the people that you're watching, all the gurus, right? Forget about what Gary Vee or the other guru says. Watch what he does. Watch what he does. Well, what does he do? He goes and speaks on stage, and then next week, you see 400 videos of that same stage broken up into little things with little titles and little hooks and all these little things. It's an assembly line. What does he do? He goes and speaks. And his team goes, run it through the assembly line. Let's get content that actually works. At the end of the day, it works into money. This works with everything. It works with videos, even if you're not using your face or your voice. It works with everything if you understand it. Now, is that to say you're going to go and do this and all of a sudden you're just going to get money? Of course not. The results are not typical, implied, or guaranteed. This is technical stuff. It takes work. Most people give up before anything ever happens. I know, I see. I've worked with tens of thousands of people over the years on a very, very specific level. And we go through and we look at what people do. 90% of the people don't do anything. The 10%, they struggle. Some people actually go through and have the grit to make it. It takes grit. It takes work. It takes going through and doing this. And if we understand, okay, well, AI is doing a lot for us, so I need to work smarter. I need all my decisions to be based on good stuff. Why is Marcus able to go out there, literally before he goes and stays at a concert, come up with personality prompts, work on it in the car on the way to Tampa, and then within weeks he has a blockbuster business that is on track to do really, really well? How can I do that and other people are struggling to get their first idea off the ground? Because it's not about an idea. It's about the process behind the idea and the thinking of how that idea is going to work. Everything is reverse engineerable. There's a gal, I think it was Marie Forleo, I worked with her years ago, and she has the phrase, everything is figure-outable. And I would say, let's take it a step further, because that came from Tony Robbins, where he said, success leaves clues. Basically the same phrase. But now in the age of AI, everything is reverse engineerable. I could go through to AI and say, hey, why did Google get popular and Yahoo didn't? Interesting.
Why did some search engines work and some didn't? Okay, good. Now apply this to the age of AI with Chatgpt, Perplexity, and all these people vying for search. I could literally get an insight into what's going on. But far too many people are like, Chatgpt, write me a cool article about elephants. And it's like, okay, well, that's cute and it's cool. But to me, AI is not some pretty new tool. It's something we can use. It's something we can build. It's something we can grow on. It's something that we can use as an employee. I know because, I mean, even our content business, we're able to get more done with less people now. Why? AI automates. AI makes things better. And we can start to understand human in the mix AI now means I can be 10 times more effective. Focus on buyers, not tire kickers. A lot of people on social media, they think it's all about views. I'll tell you what, that girl who she went viral for that saying she had, we all know. In terms of how much she made without her scammy coin thing she did, for the views versus what she made, it was not much at all. A lot of people don't make that much. Like if I got the same earnings per view as Mr. Beast, I would be completely broke. Why? Because I don't get that many views. He needs a lot. So do I want a lot of views of tire kickers and everyone, or do I want the right person? I'd rather have 100 people. What do we got? 109 people on here right now. I'd rather have 109 people who are serious, who actually want to do this, than a bunch of people who are like, I just want to make money on the old internet. I want the right people because that's where the rubber meets the road, right? Very important. It's like a specialist, right? You can get all kinds of, people to come into something generic, but the specialty is what makes money. Focus on buyers, not tire kickers. Solve problems immediately. Get to the point. Make the click easy. Make it clear, obvious. Call to action. Track everything. Data drives decision. You look at Amazon, they literally test the shade of the button you click to add to your cart. And I'm not talking like orange versus blue. I'm talking about like orange hue 965 versus orange hue 967, which probably you wouldn't even notice. But these things make a difference. How do they know? Because they got 1 billion people ordering. Track everything. Simple beats complex. This one gets everyone. They think that you need something complicated. And Marcus, your websites look like they were built in 1980. Well, I was built in 1970 sometime. So starting to understand, it doesn't matter. What matters is simple, easy, right? I could have a better product. If I sell it worse than you, I'm not going to make money. You are. Why? Because simple beats complex. When you confuse people, they're gone. Also, the money is in the follow-up. What does AI do? AI will follow up. So the system, this is system one. Create buyer-focused content, optimize for conversions using the affiliate marketing dude method, repurpose info to multiple formats, distribute across all platforms that make sense, right? Like right now, I could get a lot of views on TikTok. I do want to get a lot of views on TikTok, but people that watch 3-second videos typically are not going to become the buyer that I want. Like you guys here watching a 2-hour live stream about how to make money with AI, these are the real people. Like what was he says on One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. These are the real people, Cheswick. That's who we want. We want the real people. Starting to understand that is key. Stage number 0, buyer-focused niche selection. First, what you want to do is find your niche market. Okay, we want to find that sweet spot of where things work. Okay, what are we going to do? A niche is not weight loss, money, business. A niche is something specific. Again, we can major in the minors and do really good. The way we're going to do this is with Affiliate Marketing Dude buyer keyword research. In personality prompts, we do have some keyword prompts in here that work really, really well. And I've been testing them alongside my keyword tools. And it's almost like I could do without keyword tools. I've been using keyword tools for a long time, so that's like sacrilegious to say. But we're getting close. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for something good. We're going to use our trigger words, all right? Instead of using, weight loss, I'm going to go through and I'm going to do like ways to, alternative to, instead of, better than, today, limited, different stuff like that. Okay, we have a whole list of trigger words you can get at AI Profit Scoop. Commission research priority, we want to make sure that we can make money in the niche. right? I don't go out there and teach people how to, fix their garden if they're not going to buy anything, right? I'm here to make money. That's how it works. Understanding that's key. Stage point 5, domain acquisition. This is where you're going to go through and you're going to buy a domain. Why do I like to buy a domain on auction versus buy a new one? I'll tell you. I'll absolutely tell you. When I got the domain name that was about explainer videos, okay, I have a domain name that's doing really well on search engines. It also gets a lot of traffic from AI tools like Chatgpt gives us a lot of traffic. Perplexity gives us some. Gemini, things like that. I got that domain because I'm not currently in that market. And so buying a domain that already ranked in that market, all I had to do is plug and play my system of creating content, put it on the domain, boom, we get traffic. We literally get traffic every day on that domain. Now, sometimes, like personality prompts, I wanted to get personalityprompts.com because I liked the domain. There was no auction to it. Surprisingly, I got it for $9. I was pretty excited that it was available. I thought it was a good domain. But that's usually what I would do, is I would want to get a domain with some power. That's going to give me a head start, okay? We have lots of videos on how to buy domains and how to get ones that will give you that head start. Next up, number 1, we're going to have the hub and spoke site architecture, where the hub is going to be, okay, here's our main hub website, which is our comprehensive content, highest value keyword, multiple affiliate links that are good, that make sense, don't confuse your viewers, comparison tables, callouts, trust signals. Usually on our main site, we're going to be building a mailing list. That's where a lot of the money is going to come from, and if we understand that, that'll work really well. Also, looking at how our content's going to be structured. What you're going to notice is there's different types of content. That's why in personality prompts, if you go to content creation, this is the biggest section in personality prompts because there's so many different things, and then there's types of different things. So if we go written content, you're going to see you got advertorials, blog posts, things like that. And starting to understand, okay, where am I going to plug in what works for me? That's where you need to understand, okay, if you have it, it's almost like that old commercial, we got a prompt for that, right? And it's not just a prompt, it's something specific to get the specific output for the thing that we need. This is so important. A lot of people miss this. They think it's about busy work. The assembly line is not about busy work. It's about efficient work. It's about work that is going to get an output. What are you doing there? Well, my job is to put the tire on the Model T. That's my job. Well, what's that going to do? Well, when it gets down the line, it's going to have 4 tires. It's going to be ready to sell. Without that tire, you're not going to get anywhere. But a lot of people think, then it would make sense to just go build a bunch of tires. No, it would not. As much as that sounds good on paper, that doesn't make sense because you got no one to buy them. He has people to buy the tires because he's selling the car, which has the tires. It's a process. It's the whole thing. Looking at the spokes, you're going to have the supporting content, which is long tail keywords, topical authority, things that you can use. What we want is a backup plan for every content. Now, usually in business, you guys have found that I'm probably the non-backup plan guy. Not recommended. But in this instance, what we want to do is we want to have a backup plan. If you are building a good piece of content, or you have something that you know will work. Let's say I go out there and I say, you know what? Let's do an example here. Let's say I sit down for 6 hours and I create a complete, with the help of AI, if it wasn't with AI, it'd probably take me 400 hours, and 300 of those hours would be sitting around wondering what I should do. 100 would be actually working. But going through, let's say I created for you the affiliate marketing assembly line with prompts. How many of you guys would be like, that would be valuable? That would be well worth your 6 hours, at least to me. Okay? Let's say I put this together. And let's say I go out there and I do my keyword research and everything, and I find out after I made this, you know what? I really can't rank on Google for it. It's too competitive. Man, did I just waste my 6 hours? Am I out 6 hours? No, because I have something of value. This is where value comes into play, is understanding, can I create something people will want regardless of whether they're searching for it or not? This is where people struggle. I myself Guilty as charged. Why? Back when I was a 23-year-old and I was starting my business, I knew everything, right? I couldn't be taught nothing. I knew everything. I was the smartest guy on the planet. Took me years to figure out I didn't know anything. Then I went through and I was like, hey, you know what? I get free traffic from SEO. I was good at it. I got lots. We got hundreds of millions of visitors. I made good money. 23 years old, 25 years old, making, $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 a month. It was pretty cool. Again, results not typical, implied, or guaranteed. Most people trying to make money online make nothing. But there I was, making my money. I was like, hey, man, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. Here's my website's making money. Then I found out, well, Marcus, you're not that smart, because if you actually paid attention, the free traffic you got could have made you probably 10, maybe even 20 times what you were making if you got your head out of the sand. That's a nice way to put it. And so I was going out there and I was like, wait a minute, what? I could have done better. This is where people struggle. They think, oh, well, if I could get free traffic, well, then I'll make money. Well, if that's the case, then go buy traffic. If you think free traffic will make money, wouldn't paid traffic too? I mean, might make it less because you got to pay for it, but it should make money. If traffic is the key, if that's all there is to it, and all you need is traffic, well, then that girl who said that stupid saying should be a bazillionaire because she got a lot of traffic. But she got the wrong traffic that didn't care about anything, and it was a meme, and it didn't even matter. Now, she was able to build a following just because our culture is obsessed with celebrities that don't do a whole lot. But at any rate, whatever. Looking at that, unless you could get a bazillion views and quickly monetize it like they did, then you're going to need to find a different way. And let me just newsflash, that's going to be you, right? Most of us are not going to have a viral one-hit wonder that is going to get a bunch of traffic. Most will not have it. It's engineered, right? We have to go through and we have to build and grow. Looking at the spokes, that's how you're going to build and grow. Slow and steady, building and growing. I'll never forget a guy I used to work with, no longer work with him anymore. Ethics issue there, right? But he came in one day and he's like, Marcus, I know why you make money and a lot of people don't. He's like, you show up every day. Every single day you're here in your button shirt, ready to work. That's what you do. That's what I do. I make a living, right? Show up, do the right stuff, put it through your assembly line. You can do more than I did back in the day. Back in the day, we had to write, we had to use all these things. It took forever. Now you get data instantly. Back when I started, it took 6 months to figure out if Google was even going to look at your website. And then 6 months once you change something to see the next thing, right? And understanding that's key. So now we want to go through and think about how we're going to look. Next, we want to look at our article structure, okay? Having a hook, the facts, or let me go this way, the hook, the trigger, why read, the facts, the results, the comparison points, call to action, objection handling, much like sales. Marketing is sales in print. That's all it is, sales in print. Starting to understand that we can build this and we can make it work. And if we could do something templatizable, is that a word? If not, call the dictionary, we just made a word. Templatizable, if we can make something that's templatizable that we could package into something, then could I not apply that to outsourcers using AI and get way more stuff done and make way more? I could, because now I have something that I know works. When something works, you keep using it and you keep doing it, right? They found out formats of TV shows, like everyone hates the fake laugh on TV shows, but it works. That's why they use it. It keeps you watching. Even though we all hate it, it keeps you watching. And there's a format that works. Have people talk about nothing, right? Apparently that's what makes TV shows work. And they duplicate it. That's what it is. It seems fancy to you because you're not in the industry. Same with writing, right? It's like you look at the top publications, top news publications, top publications for this, that, or the other. It's all the same thing over and over and over again. And we start to understand, if I have that template, I apply my new thing to the template. That's what I do. That's what makes it work, right? Here's my template. Here's this new thing. Boom, content, repurpose, ready to go. Stage 3, on-page conversion elements. This is where if you're doing a blog post or an opt-in page or something like that, because everything is going to lead in. What we're doing is we're building a house or a structure, right? We're building a high-rise, okay? We'll call it Marcus Tower, something like that, right? And if you're building the tower, you don't just build one brick and then go over here and build another brick on a different highway. No, you keep building the bricks till the thing gets big. That's why we're going to go through, and all of our content is going to point to the one thing. All of my content that is about prompting is going to point to personality prompts. This will build and grow. Each piece of content, each thing that I build is going to stack, 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 grow, grow, grow. At the end of the day, I'm going to have something that I actually built, rather than here I just tried a few things that the gurus said, and I hope it works, and yay, wonderful AI. We need to focus, and that's where on-page conversion becomes powerful, because if all these things are out there pointing people to your site, you better have things on your site that convert, whether it's an opt-in box, an affiliate offer, call-out boxes, comparison tables, buttons, call to actions, urgency elements, trust signals, image strategy, and the whole 9 yards. Again, I know there's a lot of stuff on the slides. I will have them at aiprofitscoop.com. And we'll have them when the notes for the video are out. We'll have the slides for you as well. So going through here, we need to have multiple call to actions that make sense, strategic positioning everywhere that makes sense, mobile friendly, and we need to have it clear, obvious buttons with action-oriented text that removes any possibility that they're not going to know what it says. It needs to be super clear. Now, stage number 4, we're going to look at the funnel flow architecture. All right, a lot of building stuff going on here. We're going to go through and we're going to look at the entry points. Okay, where are they coming from? Well, they're coming from the content that we put through our assembly line. There it is. Social media posts, Pinterest pins, YouTube videos, email newsletters, paid ads, guest posts, forum answers. All of this stuff is traffic. Then they go into the spoke content. My favorite model is to give something good and then give something better. What do I mean by that? Well, how many of you guys think this webinar is good? Smash a like button if you think this is good. Okay, so this is the good. It's got slides, it's got all this. Over on my website, I'm going to have the notes and the slides. That's better. Okay? I can't give you that here. Okay? Same with TikTok. If I go on TikTok, it's like, okay, well, I can only do, a little video here. If you want to learn more, go over here. Starting to understand that is key, and I can get people to whatever it is. I could brand it, I can make it very simple. And the cool thing about it is if you have the right structure, people will find you. Right? They'll be like, hey, I need to find that Marcus guy, I want to work with him. They'll find the website, they'll find all this. Very important. So when we understand that, now we could go through and we can apply this to it. And AI is in every part of it. You don't have to be a good salesperson. AI knows how to do that. You don't have to be a good writer. AI knows how to do that. You don't even have to come up with a good title. AI can do that. Very, very straightforward. And you have to go through and look at that. Okay? Spoke content. Reader lands on targeted article addressing specific question. They can opt in or whatever it is. Hub article would be your money page. This would be where, okay, so I could go out there and I could say, let's make a bunch of content about why everyone needs to have their own website. Okay? I could go through, I could be like, okay, reason 1, so that people can find you and you can make money. Reason 2, so that you keep all your traffic. Reason 500. All of them are going to go to my website. Obviously, we need to have a website to do that, practicing what we preach. That website could have different links that says, hey, get your domain name. What's that going to be? That's going to be a big post about how to buy a domain name with affiliate links on it. Next, web hosting. Big link with big post with all this stuff on there. Educate, inform, and sell more. This is what Corey Rudel said back in the day before he passed, I think in like 2003 or something. Great marketer back in the day, one of the pioneers of internet marketing and affiliate marketing, was talking about if you can educate your market, you're going to sell more. And think about if you were going to sell cars, right? You're standing on the car lot and you're like, okay, well, we got a sale on the Ford. And they're like, oh, okay, great. Or you're like, hey, what kind of car do you drive now? Well, I have this. Did you know that the new trucks get 10 times the gas mileage of the old ones? Oh, I didn't know that. Educate, inform, they like it, you're going to sell more. Did you know that if you get this, because of the rate, it'll actually be cheaper than this, or something like that? Did you know that this car holds value better than this car? Understanding that if you could teach people good stuff, it will work. Now, there's a mix. You do need to teach people, and you do need to have emotions in play. Most people buy based on emotion, and then back it up later based on facts so that they could, feel good about their decision. As a salesperson, it is our job to make them understand the best decision according to what we know. All right, we want to get them the best decision and make sure that we give them something good. Otherwise, you're not going to be a salesperson very long. Although, we have seen that happen in some instances of popular business people, but our job is to stay ethical and good. Going through and understanding that we can build this up and grow and educate and inform people and help sell, that's key. That's where our hub article comes into play. Then, of course, we have our affiliate offers or whatever it is we're selling. Very, very important. Number 4, funnel optimization strategies. When we go through, we could have like exit intent, maybe retargeting, maybe learn about them, get them to click something else, maybe give them some information. Hey, if you're leaving this page, did you know this? Click here to learn more about it. You want to keep them in the pipeline. One of the things that we learn here is where we go through and we understand like these companies want you to stay on their platform. Facebook would love nothing more than to be the only website on the internet. That's what they like. Same with the other ones, YouTube, Google. They all want to be the only site you go to. Why? Because they make money the longer you look at it. Same with you. The more people spend time on your content, on your websites, the more money you are going to make, right? It's just a fact. You got to look at that. You got to understand. Email capture, retargeting, you can do all this stuff here. Key principle, capture every visitor's value. You want to get people to like, know, and respect your content so that they come back for more, right? If you put out something bad, they're not going to watch your next one. That's not going to trigger the algorithm. You want to trigger the algorithm, get them to watch. People think there's some magic algorithm trick. It's keeping people's attention. That's the algorithm trick. You want to learn how to do that? You go to Chatgpt and you say, find the experts on keeping attention in the age of social media. List out 100 of them. Okay, great. Now go get me tips from all 100 of them. Great. Now find all the overlaps and write me an article on how to make something really good. Great. Now based on this article, go make my content for this niche. Boom, it's going to work. That's what we've done in personality prompts, and we've done it for literally everything and really thought out like, what is it that makes stuff work? Where would we use it and why? Where would we use it and why? Super important, because if you know that, then it's literally plug and play. Now, is it guaranteed to work? Of course not. Nothing is guaranteed at all. We need to go through and we need to look at how we're going to apply it as a business. It takes work, it takes effort, it takes growth, it takes, grit. But at the end of the day, I like to think I'm tired, but I literally work not far from home. I stand in front of a computer and I go home. I'm not digging ditches or anything, right? So it's relative. And I look at it, and it's as hard as it seems in my mind. What if instead I make it a challenge? What if instead I make it a puzzle? What if instead I started enjoying it and looking at it? Super important. Going through and looking at YouTube, long form or short form video works really well. They got billions of searches monthly. They're the second largest search engine. Evergreen rankings. Some videos will rank for a long time. High trust. If you're on Face, you get more trust. If not, that's okay too. We are seeing AI avatars do just as well. Okay? Multiple income streams. Algorithm favors watch time. So again, understanding that. Content types that convert, product reviews, comparisons, tutorials, unboxing, best of, or even informative stuff. Very important. Think about the fact that everything can be broken up. This is what we do in personality prompts, AI Profit Scoop, and every training I've ever done is we do the breakup method. What you're doing is you're breaking up everything into something small, much like Henry Ford did, where he broke everything into, here's the different tasks. What we're doing is we're saying, well, a guy wants money, okay? They want more money, more money. All right, well, what does that look like? How do you get it? Break it up into 1,000 little topics and 1,000 little tips and 1,000 quotes, 1,000 different authors, 1,000 different tools, things that they can do. Start talking about that, and you will get a following if you do it right. You need to understand that it's about breaking stuff up into it. It's about parts of a whole. It's about understanding everything in a different way. looking at it from a content perspective rather than, those people want this. And it's like years ago, Werner Erhard said it best, where he was talking about, to a cow farmer, you look out and there's a bunch of cows. Or to a regular person, you look out and there's a bunch of cows. To a cow farmer, he knows everything about every one. He's like, oh, that one does this one does that. Same thing with breaking up your content. To a tax accountant, there's not just money. There's all different types of things. There's before tax money, after tax money, investment money, all of this stuff. It's like on the old movie Mr. Mom, right? He goes up and he's like, give me a pound of cheese. And they're like, do you want provolone? Do you want cheddar, American? He's like, just give me some ham. Do you want Black Forest? Do you want this? Do you want that? And he just gets overwhelmed. Why? Because he's not the distinction person. She's the distinction person behind the meat counter, giving out the meat and the cheese. She understands that. And the minute you start seeing your content differently and putting it through the assembly line, magic. Next up, YouTube production and optimization. This is where you could go through and start doing an assembly line. Production workflow, making a script, recording or using AI, editing, cutting, adding B-roll, text, thumbnails, all of this stuff usually takes like 2 to 4 hours per video or more. SEO optimization, coming up with a title, description, affiliate links, tags, captions, affiliate strategy, having disclosures, verbal CTAs. All of these things can be put into your assembly line and save tons of time and be done right over and over and over again. And when you understand that, it changes things. Going through TikTok, same kind of thing. You got 1 billion viewers over there. How are we going to get in front of them? What are we going to say? What are we going to make? Pick your niche, dissect the niche, run it through your affiliate marketing assembly line, start building it. You could do product demos, things I wish I knew, before and after. Interesting facts. A lot of people overlook interesting facts. How many of you guys found this video interesting? You're like, oh, okay, talking about Henry Ford, how this business strategy changed that, how this changes this. You found it interesting. Why? Because I started out with interesting facts. Can I find 100, 200, 1,000 interesting facts in my niche? I'll bet I can. Then I'll run them through my assembly line and get good content. And boom, 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 boom. Now I have people looking at my content, people going to my website, getting all of this stuff out there. Someone saying, I'm curious if there are prompts on personality prompts for implementing this approach. That's why personality prompts was built. It is based on this approach. It's new, so we are adding to it, but that is why we made it. So personality prompts is designed to be your assembly line. Next up, we have TikTok strategy, posting frequency. If you're going to do 2 per day, monthly output, that's 60 videos, time per 5 videos, 30 minutes. If you're using a assembly line. Affiliate strategy, link in bio. I'm going to use my own website. I don't like using other websites. Why? Because again, I want to build my tower, not someone else's tower. That's why when people come to me and they're like, oh, you're going to use Stan Store, School, or all these others, if they will get traffic that I don't have to get, yes. Did you just catch that? If they get traffic that I don't have to get, yes. So if I go and I post something on School, and School magically sends me 10,000 visitors a month, heck yeah, I'm going to use School. But if I send my people to School, and all it does is sell their stuff, my own stuff, to my own people, what's the point? Literally, what is the point? I might as well build my own app. So if the platform has traffic built in, then yes, I will do that. If it does not, I don't. And I'll tell you, there's very few that do. There's very few where you could actually get both. So looking at this, if I build a TikTok following, I want them to go to my website. I don't want to send them to Linktree or Stan Store. Why? Just because it's easy? No, I want them to remember my stuff. I want them to be like, I'm going to go to personality prompts or AI profit scoop. That's where I'm going. I want them to remember that. I want it in their brain, like how, now we say, I'm going to go have a Coca-Cola. You don't even say I'm going to get a soda or anything. You literally call it the name of the thing because it's in your brain. That's what I want. I want when people think of AI, I want them to go to AI profit scoop or personality prompts. Going through and posting here, you can create the TikToks, make it work. Again, focusing on data. Watch what happens. If you're using the assembly line, it's a lot easier to get 100 videos out than if you're not. And those 100 videos will give you data. They will give you data. Like, it might not be the data you want. It might not be, I went viral and now I'm retired on the beach. It might be all of them sucked. And now you ask yourself, why? How do I not reduplicate that? Now, can we do better by learning from other people and learning what works? Yes, in the age of AI, we could boil it down. Personality prompts do the next best thing to being able to do that, where we go through and we dissect what people say and think about it. Instagram, you could do carousel post. You could do Instagram Reels, stories, feed post. Instagram is a great place to get traffic. There are a lot of people that get a lot of traffic with this. Very, very important. We have a video coming up I'm going to do about the Stan Store one because it's getting really popular. I mean, it has pros and cons. It just depends on what you're using it for. And I think a lot of people miss out on a lot of these things. Next up, Instagram affiliate strategy. You can do your link in bio, get them to your website. My favorite way, get a domain at auction that's good, that has some kind of search engine power to it. Pair it with this stuff. What we want to do is we want to load the deck in our favor. I want it to be in my favor. I want to make it easy. Obviously, following rules and ethics, but can I buy a domain that was based on a business that's doing something similar to me and build it up? I can. Now, would I buy a domain and just spam it? No, I wouldn't do that because that's not ethical. I'm going to go and I'm going to do things that actually work, that are good. We're going to look at the time and investment. We're going to go through and say, okay, if I create this content here, what's it going to look like? Some things are slow starters. The video or the site that I started making about wedding invitations was a slow starter. I did give the assembly line to my outsourcer. It's starting to get picked up now. So it took 2 weeks longer than I thought it would. I'm completely impatient with stuff. So if you're like impatient, I get it. I'm probably 10,000 times worse than you are. And looking at the Instagram strategy, we can go through and make it work. Next up, you could do Pinterest. Pinterest is very, very systemizable. I did hands-off Pinterest for a long time and got lots of views from it. Lots and lots of views. And it's about breaking things up into helpful stuff. Vertical format, making it simple, making it work, thinking about your audience, thinking about why did one work. When you get one that takes off, figure out why it worked, duplicate that, learn and grow, Kaizen, going through, making it work, very, very important. Going through Pinterest, scheduling, board optimization, scheduling strategy, time investment, looking at how you're going to make it work. Make it with less characters. A lot of people try to fit the whole world in there. I learned in advertising that the blank space is just as important as the words you use. Why? Visual. Don't be too hard on the eyes. That's why people look at our websites and they're like, they're too simple. Well, simple sells. That's a fact. Absolutely sells. You don't believe me? Buy a Tesla. Very simple looking car. Sells like crazy, I think. I don't know. They might not be selling that great now. But it sells. Going through platform, email marketing. Going through, this is going to be where your highest ROI is, because if you get emails and you can market to them, obviously we're doing permission-based email marketing where they opt in, then we can build and grow from there. And again, I can have a system with AI. There are systems out there. We just did a video yesterday. If you didn't see it, it's probably one of the most underrated videos. It's my worst performing video in a long time. But it's about the Copilot and how the Copilot will literally program ideas for your niche, and it'll wake you up with them. Not literally wake you up, but when you go to your homepage, it'll show them. Very, very cool. Okay? Very good. Let's see. Next up, email marketing platforms and metrics. I'm going to use something like Aweber just because it's easy and it has a good click-through rate and a good delivery rate, which is good. Okay? Next up, we're going to go through and look at the complete visual workflow. All right, so we have our foundation piece, which is like, this is our blog post. We want it to rank. Then we have our text content, visual content, and video content. Okay, notice how the foundation piece is like the big one. That's the big thing, a report, a guide, a tip, a giveaway. This is why I tell people, like, start with a simple website. I started personality prompts with 2 pages, literally the opt-in page and the thank you page. And then we created some free prompts. That was the foundation piece. Then we create 7 little pieces, blog posts, different things based on prompting, videos, visual. boom, it all points to one. It all works in a very, very specific way, okay? Next up, foundation blog posts, we can go into audio content. If you made video content, you also made audio content, right? It's one, it comes after the other, right? Email marketing, paid advertising, everything like that. What this is going to do is it's going to set you up a buffer. If I have a piece of content that doesn't perform as planned, I can email it out and make it perform as planned. Like, I got the traffic. I can make it work. One blog post can equal 67 or more touch points, 10 platforms, months of content from one thing. That's why I started doing videos like this where we do slideshows rather than switching back and forth, because these are easy to break up and easy to get more out of. And you guys like them, so that's cool. Next up, the time investment and weekly breakdown. I would say if you're going to be like full-time, you need to say I'm doing 21 hours or more a week, and then break that down into what you're doing. Most people that are spending 21 hours are spending 21 hours trying to learn how to do business, and they never get off the ground. We want to focus on things we know work. What works? Content, getting customers, building things that actually will get results, writing a press release for a new site, getting an email out there, things that actually work. If you have more time, great. But if you have 3 hours daily, I think you can start to make some headway, especially with AI. I would say that 3 hours daily is equivalent to like 60 hours back before AI. Next up, the growth timeline. You know, sometimes it takes like a month to get going. When we do our auction domain stuff, sometimes a little bit quicker. But going through and looking at that and saying, what is the next 12 months going to look like for my business? And coming back and looking at it every step of the way. Because I'm not going to go 11 months before making my first dollar. I need to see that right away so I know that this works. I need to see that traffic's there. I'm not just going to go out there and make a bunch of posts and hope they work. I want to look at what works. Now, here's some common mistakes and how to avoid them with this plan. We're going to go through and see mistake 1 is trying everything at once. 2 is not repurposing your content. You make a blog post, that's the end of it. 3, ignoring analytics. 4, inconsistent publishing. 5, skipping the foundation work and the understanding of your market. 6, did we get 6? Yeah. No email list from day 1. Nah, you need your email list now, yesterday. 7, promoting too many products. 8, giving up too soon. This is the biggest one. 9, and I would say giving up too soon is probably a result of doing the wrong thing, because the only reason you're going to give up is if something's not working. It's not working, you're probably doing the wrong thing. It's kind of like a round robin. Using fake urgency, never do that. And don't ignore buyer intent. The key principle, most failures come from lack of focus, inconsistency, or quitting too early, not from lack of knowledge. You have all the knowledge you need with AI. It'll point you whatever you want to learn, you can do it. We have a worker here, she's been with me about a year and a half. She completely taught herself vibe coding with AI. Like I taught her a little bit of stuff, but she just took it and run with it, and it's amazing. She learned with AI, that was her teacher. Your 90-day action plan is going to look like this, where you're going through getting your niche, building up your spokes, and everything like that. Very, very important. So what we have to do is we have to look at that and understand exactly what's going on. Next up, personality prompts. If you want to learn more about this and get the prompts that I use and the whole format, you can see how we built it. We have prompts for niche research, content creation, repurposing, email sequence, ad copy, keyword analysis, SEO, video scripts, analytics, social media, and the whole 9 yards. And these aren't just any prompts. These are very, very robust. When you go into written content and you look at listicles, this comes up with a full, thought-out, programmable prompt that will give you something specific. It's very, very cut and paste. Obviously, it's not going to be cut and paste and boom, here's your business. It's parts of a whole. It's going to help you write that good thing. It's going to help you create that stuff that'll work. It's going to help you understand what's going to work on social media and getting you in front of the things that actually work. If you want to check that out, you can go to personalityprompts.com. You can check out some of the prompts we have there. There's a link to sign up if you want to join and get the whole giant thing. I mean, there's so many prompts in here. It's crazy. And we have training coming out on how to use them. But it's really cool. Like we have business strategy where it'll help you think different. You have webinars. This is one where I went through and I wrote a complete webinar with AI, tested it out. It sold better than me. So this is the kind of stuff where the rubber meets the road. When you look at SEO prompts, it's not just think like an SEO expert. No, we went out and looked at SEO experts, and knowing SEO myself, I took out the stuff I didn't want and kept the stuff I did want and added things and looked at it. Social media, we got a bunch of different social media ones. I think we have like a couple hundred more going in here. And on we go. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out over at personalityprompts.com, where you can also get the notes and the slides and everything like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this training. Again, think about your business in an assembly line. Think about what the content would look like, because most of us are in content marketing business, if that's what you want to do. Even if you're in like Shopify and you're like, Marcus, why is my drop shipping stuff not selling? Well, because probably either you have the wrong product, rare. I mean, you should be able to sell any product. But if I have a product, let's say I'm selling, like back in the day, I sold gas-powered scooters. Well, getting traffic to it is the key. People are like, how do I make money on Shopify? You don't. Shopify's a platform. How to make money with Linktree? You don't. That's a platform. You need traffic. You need to get people in. And how are you going to do that? You're going to do that with content. That's how you're going to do it. How do these big companies come out? Content, understanding, getting in front of the right people, whether it's through ads or free traffic, building up. That's what you're going to do. And you're going to have the assembly line where it's going to go through and be like, okay, boom, put this in, get 20 output contents, post these here, make it work, right? Understanding things. I go through this all the time. If you're an author and you have a book, what is the best way to get traffic to your book? Talk about related books, right? Like if I have a therapy book, I'm going to go talk about Dr. Phil and Brene Brown and all these other people. Obviously, we're not going to like plagiarize or do anything. Just give your input. Like when I did my sobriety channel, we would talk about other people's thoughts on sobriety and we would discuss them. That gets traffic and it built it up, right? That business, we could probably make a lot more with it, but I kept the price low because I know a lot of people struggling with that issue aren't really, usually financially sound. So looking at that and understanding, you go through and you make it work. And that's the key. Minnie says, first chapter free, pay for the rest. What I would do, if it was me, I would give my entire book away in different parts, right? This was made popular by Eben Pagan. Eben Pagan went through and he's like, oh, I have this course on, how to date or whatever his course was about. And he split it up. Like if you were on his mailing list for a whole year, you got his book. What was he selling? His book. This is what I talk about. We talked about it in Monday's video. The product is the marketing, PITM, where the product is the marketing. Once you understand this, everything starts to change. Because if you know that the product is now the marketing, boom, now I can make content, put it through my assembly line, hopefully go to personalityprompts.com and use those, join the community over there we're starting, and build this whole thing up. If you enjoyed this training, smash that like button. We got lots of good trainings here. You should be watching all of them if you want to learn this stuff. Always be ethical, always be good. Remember, the results are not typical, implied, or guaranteed. Most people trying to make money make nothing for a variety of reasons, whether they give up, whether they get bad advice, whether what they do just doesn't work. Sometimes stuff just don't work. We are entrepreneurs. We got to get up, live to make another content. Go out there, make it work, and focus. Thanks again for watching. Smash that like button. Check out personalityprompts.com.